Hi, this is Dr. Kurt Jaros. I'm here with my friend Dr. Mike Licona, and we're talking about his new book, Jesus Contradicted: Why the Gospels Tell the Same Story Differently. Mike, when you were dealing with doubts about the Gospels and the differences between them, there was what you call the Baltimore call. Was that a call to ministry that you felt? What was that?
Well, it was, I believe it was 1989, and my wife and I, we were living in Baltimore at the time, and I was just having doubts about my faith. I had not ever been interested in Christian apologetics. I just didn't feel like I needed it, but then I needed it at one point. I started having questions, and I remember calling Gary Habermas. He calls it the Baltimore call. I said, Doc, look, a lot of scholars don't think Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote the Gospels. And if they didn't write the Gospels, then how do we know we can trust anything in them? And this is really bothering me. It's rocking my faith. And he listened to me patiently, and then he said, Mike, did Jesus rise from the dead? I said, well, yeah. He said, why do you believe that? I said, well, Doc, you have what you call the minimal facts approach. You take facts that are so strongly supported by the data that the overwhelming majority of critical scholars grant them as facts. And you can take just those facts and build a very strong case for the resurrection of Jesus. And so, yeah, you do that, and it's like, all right, yeah, Jesus rose from the dead. Mike, we've got evidence that there's some evidence that the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote the Gospels. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're wrong. If Jesus rose, is Christianity still true? I said, well, of course. He said, well, then why are you allowing this matter of gospel authorship to rock your faith? That's a good question. And so I said, I understand that. But what do you do with the errors and contradictions that they're saying in the Gospels? And he said, Mike, did Jesus rise from the dead? And then, Mike, we got answers to some of those, but even if we're wrong, if Jesus rose, Christianity is still true. We might have to rework some of our doctrine of Scripture, like inerrancy or something like that, but it doesn't negate the credibility or truth of Christianity.
So that was a relief for you, having him walk you through that mental process, if you will, and it sort of freed you up to be free to avoid some of those obstacles and to focus on, more specifics here about these differences and looking into them.
That's right, because no matter what conclusion I came to, I might make some evangelicals mad. I have, because I'm just trying to be honest with this. I'm not trying to toe a party line. If Jesus rose, it's game, set, match. Christianity is true, period. And so I can feel freedom to look at this stuff. And, we should anyway, because we should be more interested in truth than verifying our own views. So, yeah.
Great. Well, if you also have questions about the reliability of the Gospels and why there are differences between the Gospels, check out Mike's new book, Jesus Contradicted: Why the Gospels Tell the Same Story Differently, published by Zondervan Academic.